Haji Iman. If confirmed, it's an historic figure within the movement, an Iraqi who had fought in Afghanistan.
We are systematically eliminating ISIL's cabinet.
All right, sir.
Thanks.
Indeed, the U.S. military killed several key ISIL terrorists this week, including, we believe, Haji Iman, who was an ISIL leader, senior leader, serving as a finance minister, and who also is responsible for some external affairs and plots. The removal of this ISIL leader will hamper the organization's ability to conduct operations both inside and outside of Iraq and Syria.
All right, that announcement coupled with news that ISIS on the back foot in Syria with government forces taking over the ancient citadel in Palmyra. For more on the announcement and what we just heard from the U.S. Defense Minister, let's cross to Philip Crowther in Washington. What more do we know?
There's very little given by the Pentagon at this point. This man they describe as being the number 2 in command for the Islamic State organization, or their finance minister, or the heir apparent. His name is Haji Imam. According to the Pentagon, there's another name for him. That's Abdul Rahman al-Kaduli. We don't know at this point exactly how he was killed. It appears to have been an air raid possibly this week, but our colleagues at NBC News have different information. They believe this was a special forces operation on the ground in Syria, and that these were American forces on the ground who took him out, who wanted to take this man alive, but were not able to because of complications on the ground. That is what we're hearing so far. And you just heard there from U.S. Defense Secretary Ashton Carter. This is precisely the kind of announcement that the Pentagon wants to make when he says that they are systematically taking out the cabinet of the Islamic State organization. These are, of course, titles they give themselves as part of the self-proclaimed Islamic State, and it includes the Minister of War, basically, the Minister of Military Operation, Omar the Chechen, who was killed earlier this month. The Pentagon also says that other leaders were killed this week in similar operations by the United States. So this is certainly a success for U.S. forces on the ground, because this is a man who they'd been looking at for a long time. There was a reward for information about him of $7 million that was put out by the Justice Department. The Pentagon pretty much confirming the death of the Islamic State organization's number 2 in command.
Pretty much. And I noticed, Philip, that Ashton Carter in his remarks said, we believe to have taken out Haji Iman. Caution, because in the past, U.S. and other allies have been burned when it comes to announcing prematurely the demise of ISIS leaders.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not the very first one, but take a look at Omar the Chechen, who we just discussed. He was also believed to have been killed in an air raid by the United States earlier this month. That has now been confirmed by the Pentagon. These things are, of course, incredibly difficult to confirm on the ground. Remember the case of Jihadi John. The United States took a very, very long time to confirm his death on the ground. That was in Raqqa in Syria. This time around, though, near certitude from the Pentagon. And when the Pentagon talks about taking out a senior leader or removing them from the battlefield, these are words they use to basically say that they are very confident indeed that they have killed this ISIS leader. But yes, you're absolutely right, not confirmed at this point. But this is the closest that the U.S. military and indeed the coalition has come to al-Baghdadi, the actual leader of the Islamic State organization. This is precisely why they wanted to take this number 2 alive, to get information that might take them all the way to the top.